what businesses are going to boom? Because we know that with the coronavirus crisis, it's going to change all kinds of businesses, right? Back to sports. There's some things that you just can't do that just don't work on a Zoom screen. There are other businesses, again, like my business, media, where there are trends that were happening before that are just getting accelerated. We were dealing with a decline in advertising and the need to pivot to consumer revenue before this happened. That is only happening 10 times as fast now. There are whole sectors like the sharing economy where the whole premise of a lot of the companies is going to change, right? Every company is going to have to rethink how many touch points, how many moments of human interaction are there, and can they be minimized? What will happen to Airbnb? Will people be still willing to go into other people's homes? And if Airbnb really declines, what will that do to cities? Will it mean suddenly that artists move back into cities? Will it change the way cultural capital works? There's some fascinating implications of this. But the question for business, if you have a business, you have to just think through all the touch points. If you manufacture cars, you better make sure that every trunk is automatic. Minimize the number of human interactions, minimize the number of times that coronavirus can spread while people are using your product. But so that's an industry that's in decline and shifting. Let's talk about one that's booming, which is online education. This chart here is the number of people using Coursera. It's crazy, right? Clearly, we all have to use online education because our kids are at home. We're looking at lifelong learning. And this is a business that has always, the boom has always been around the corner for about the last decade, and now it's finally come. So the important question is, when we're out of the coronavirus crisis, as I hope we will be in not too long, in a year, in 2 years to different degrees, I think a lot of this will last. This curve will not continue its steep direction. But come the fall, we'll have learned a whole lot about online education that will benefit us down the line. Another business I'm super interested in is telemedicine. Telemedicine is much more efficient than going to the doctor's office. It saves you time. You're not going to catch an infection if you're at home the way you might in the elevator up to your doctor's office. There are huge benefits. So why didn't we have telemedicine before now? Well, partly it was an insurance company problem. Insurance companies wouldn't reimburse doctors if they met. And also partly an infrastructure question. My mom, before coronavirus, had no idea how to use Zoom. Now she does. Now we're seeing the imperative of it. I think telemedicine is absolutely going to boom in fabulous ways. It'll be hugely beneficial to us, hugely beneficial to doctors. Obviously, you can't do all medicine. You can't get surgery through telemedicine. But a lot of the times you go to the hospital, you won't actually need to do that anymore. Another area where I'm thinking there's going to be a boom is in robotics, right? Think about all the things where robots can actually do what humans did before. This is one of those amazing Boston Dynamics robots. You've probably seen the viral YouTube videos, working inside of a hospital in Boston, where these robots have been sent to deliver medicine to patients to minimize the human-to-human interactions where the virus can spread. I think you're going to start seeing assembly lines where it's human, robot, human, robot, human, robot, human, where you start to see robots doing all kinds of things that humans used to do. There's a story about a slaughterhouse in Denmark. It's the one slaughterhouse in the world where there hasn't been coronavirus outbreaks at all. Why is that? Well, it's the one slaughterhouse in the world that is fully robots, cutting the pigs, getting the meat. There is a lot of work right now being done by people that will be done by robots. One of the things I'm most interested in that might change, and I think I'm one of the few people who believes this right now. Everybody believes that online education, for example, is going to boom. I think that self-driving cars are going to have a moment. You know, the last year or two have been bad for self-driving cars. Stories about crashes and questions about whether they can handle complex situations. What about inclines? And what about when the rules of the road change? Yes, absolutely. Those are legitimate problems. But self-driving cars are so much better than human-driven cars. They don't text. They don't drink and drive. They learn from each other. They can improve exponentially by acquiring information from every other car out on the road. Self-driving cars will make our roads much safer if we allow them. And there's a little bit of a backlash against self-driving cars. But wouldn't you rather get in a self-driving Uber now? Wouldn't you rather get in a self-driving Lyft? If you're getting a package delivered, wouldn't you rather it was a self-driving car that could just drop it at the curbside, eliminate some human touch? I wonder whether this is a business that's going to boom. Maybe I'm too optimistic because I love self-driving cars, but I think I think this might be a beneficiary. Because I think that a lot is going to change. That this is a moment in time that kind of maps onto this chart. That things are going to change at a pace we haven't quite understood before as we emerge from Corona and as we go into the next era.